Alright, I finally got some decent lighting, but I still look like shit, so just bear with me. Yeah, so handwriting. Little known fact, I'm shit at handwriting. When I was in primary school, there was a thing called a pen license, and most of you probably know what that is, or if you're in Australia, but essentially, whenever you're in school, you have to use a pencil, and then they see if your handwriting is neat enough, and if you don't make as many mistakes, and then they'll allow you to use a pen. You have to prove that, pretty much a pen license is that you have to prove that you can use a pen without f***ing up, or that you have terrible handwriting. Now, I never actually graduated from pencil to pen in primary school, so when I just went into high school, I just decided to use pen. My handwriting is still shit. Here is, I don't know if you can see that. My handwriting is absolutely terrible. And my excuse was that, oh, I'll just write neatly when I need to, alright? If I need to write fast, then I'll write, you know, however the f*** I want. Now that's a bad idea, and I think most people are like me, or at least most guys are like me. For some reason, girls just have way better handwriting. Yeah, but I mean, I struggle with this to this day. You think that handwriting is like the foundation of papers, and so obviously with coronavirus, we are not doing in-paper exams, we're doing online exams, so assignments and stuff don't really matter about handwriting. However, I think this is actually a very integral part of making notes and doing tests, and it's kind of the foundation of those. So, to say for example, if you write a brilliant essay in shit handwriting, you will come across as dumb. I don't care how smart you sound in your essay, you will look like a 5-year-old if you write like a 5-year-old, and that was kind of my problem. So it's the more the marker has to decipher what you're trying to say, it gives you kind of a confirmation bias as to like what is bad about the essay if it's got bad handwriting. Also, if you write notes, you have to have good handwriting, and this is something I'm trying to do now. If I flip to some of my more recent notes, alright, say for example this, like even now, that's still pathetic, but I'm still making some kind of progress. Good handwriting doesn't come naturally to me, and I think there's a lot of other people like me out there, but I would encourage you guys I'd encourage everybody to work on good handwriting, because it just makes notes better, it just makes writing your essays, they come out a lot clearer, and also the longer you take to write out the notes, the more it's actually going to stick in your head, the more you're actually going to read what you write down, because too often we just write down what's on the PowerPoint or whatever, we just write down what's in class, we don't actually absorb what's happening. If you take the time to write proper handwriting, you will retain it a lot better. And that's just a fact. And also, if your notes are neat, you will be able to look back on those notes and you'll want to read them, you'll want to learn them. And so I had this critique when I was in high school. There were these people who would just write the most beautiful notes, but they wouldn't study them, they would just make them look pretty. There's no substance in the notes. You have to have both. And so I was on the side of substance, but it just looked like shit, so I'd never read it again. You have to make the notes look pretty, look amazing, put effort into making the notes look nice, which I know us guys have a lot of trouble doing, or we just can't be bothered, but you need to do it, because otherwise the notes just look shit, you don't want to read it, and you're just going to end up having to do more work than you need to. It actually saves time to really take the time to write out the notes. Typing, now that most things are on computer now, being able to type quickly is also a really important skill that I would also try and work on. However, that's not really the focus of this video. Right now, the main takeaway is try to work on your handwriting. In an essay, in an exam, where you have to write a long essay, not so much just short answer questions, take the time to write out good handwriting. In an essay, it is very difficult to write quickly and neatly. It's very difficult. That's just how it is. But what I would say, in your practice essays, take the time to write neat. I don't care how long it takes, take the time to write neat. Make sure, let's just say you have a 2-hour exam, like in my English class, we had, our final was a 2-hour exam, and you'd have to write like a 6-paragraph essay, which was just like really long. Like on top of planning and shit, it was just really long. Obviously, when you're in the final, you want to write as fast as you're just inevitably going to write faster than you normally would. But in that practice exam, really try and take your time to make sure it makes sense. That way it's an essay you'd want to read again, just because if you keep practicing good handwriting, it'll just come naturally. Or at least when you do write fast, it'll be neater than if you don't. If you just constantly do bad handwriting. Because I think that's it's a foundational skill that I think a lot of us, like I did for pretty much my whole life, severely underrated. So that's my takeaway. That's another 5% way of improving our academic skills that we can take away.